Hi, my name is Jeff. I am in my mid 30s. I live in the Rocky Mountain region of the United States. I work in tech, so I work remotely from home right now, and I'm the father of three young children. And when my daughter was born about 6 years ago, she was one of those babies who wouldn't sleep very well unless you were holding her and moving. And so late at night, I would find myself holding her and walking around barefoot my kitchen island. I'm guessing you know where this is going. But it was shortly after that, or during that rather, that I started to feel some really intense heel pain in both feet. Come to find out, it was plantar fasciitis, and I have been battling it ever since. I've tried a lot of different things. First, I've tried physical therapy, a lot of stretching, dry needling, custom orthotics, multiple pairs, mind you, over the counter orthotics, different types of shoes from Brooks to Hoka's. I've tried Birkenstocks, compression socks, taping my ankles, Strasbourg socks at night, night splints, the rocker where you put your foot to stretch it out, toe spacers, a red spiky ball, an arch massager that you can really get at the point of pain. The Ratliff protocol was stretching, a massage gun, ice packs. I've tried a lot of things. And over the last 6 years, I've had a lot of peaks and valleys. Like sometimes it's worse than others. But I've just never been able to get back to full strength. And I've been in a period of time where I've had a lot of pain. And I discovered in a Facebook group about plantar fasciitis the ESWT high intensity shockwave therapy from Dr. Stasiak at Mid Ohio Foot and Ankle. And after doing some research and reading about others' experiences, I decided it was worth a shot because the things that I love most in my life, I can't really do or can't really enjoy, rather. I love going on walks every day, long walks. And right now it's just a source of pain. And so I have that conflict of wanting to do it, but not wanting the pain. I also officiate college volleyball as a side job, and that's a lot of standing, and that's just a lot of pain. And I'm in my mid 30s and I have a young family. And I'm frustrated that I have the limitations I have where I'm always thinking about my feet, planning around my feet, trying to avoid the pain. And it's a big investment of time and money for me to fly from the Western US over to Ohio for this treatment, but I'm excited about it and I'm optimistic. I'm really hopeful that this will be the thing that helps my body finally heal. So fingers crossed that in 2 days I'll be getting the treatment and within a few weeks after that feel much better, but we'll see.
Okay, so I'm here at Dr. Stasiak's office and just had the treatment. And I came in a little nervous that I was overhyping it in my head. And to be honest, I'm now even more hopeful as to what this will do. And I think a lot of it was because of how Dr. Stasiak and his team handled everything. Like I got here and I answered questions, and then we took some x-rays of my feet because I was working on both feet. And then Dr. Stasiak looked at the images, walked me through them, pointed out a few things about some heel spurs that I have, and then the thickness of my plantar fascia in each feet and why. And that was really helpful. Like he gave the context behind why my feet are the way they are right now, what's like happening in my feet, like why the calcification has built up over time. And then in the actual procedure, what happened is um, he brings in the machine and it sits at the base of your foot and he positions it and he's here the whole time. Like he is holding the foot, adjusting the foot. And then he is consistently throughout the process holding an ultrasound, like doing an ultrasound on your foot. And you can actually look at the screen and the part of your plantar fascia that was thick and black because of the calcification or that rust type of thing that happens, like over time you see it break up and you see your plantar fascia, just that the ribbon that it um, is back. Like you can see it in the black part that was the calcification breaks up. And it's just really satisfying and helpful that it's not a hypothetical thing that Dr. Stasiak cares about seeing progress. He's not just going to say, okay, we're going to shock your foot 2,000 times and call it a day. He actually is monitoring, checking, adjusting your foot, turning your foot, adjusting it the whole time, and looking at the monitor to see the calcification break up. And he's not going to stop until it breaks up sufficiently. The whole thing so far was awesome. I'm really, really hopeful. The shots at the beginning were hard. Like there were 2 shots in each foot, and they hurt quite a bit in the moment, like a lot of pain in the moment. But it was, 20 seconds of pain, and I'm just ready to. I'd rather do the 20 seconds of pain to get my life back. And the rest of the process was not really painful at all. And I'm just really hopeful. So I had the procedure done yesterday and I finished at about noon, and now it's 6 p.m. the next day. So I've had a bit over 24 hours since it was done. And I just want to share like what the experience has been. Dr. Stasiak walked me through in the office what stretches I should be doing, when I should start them. So I started those last night. He also gave me some cooling lotion that really helped. They shared ahead of time that I wouldn't be able to drive away from the office. So I arranged for my brother to help me out with that. So just something you may want to plan for. But here's the gist of how it's felt since it was done. So yesterday, after the numbing from the anesthesia wore off, I did feel some pain and soreness throughout the day into the evening. And I felt like as it progressed, like the soreness got a little worse until I went to bed. But I did the stretches that Dr. Stasiak recommended. I used the cooling lotion that he gave, and I slept really well. I don't think the pain or soreness affected my sleep at all. And then this morning, before I got up, before I walked anyway, I stretched, and I was diligent about that. And I feel like today, so the day after, my feet are still sore. There's still noticeable pain, but I've taken it easy as Dr. Stasiak prescribed. And I feel like as the days progressed, it's felt a little better. Like my feet have felt just a little less sore than they were. So that's good. It's like a difference from yesterday, whereas the day progressed, it felt a little more sore. Today's felt a little better. But I'm still not, like, I didn't go anywhere really. I just walked around the house. Anyway, but we'll see what tomorrow brings. We'll see how quickly I feel like I can get back to where I'm more confident in walking around for a longer period of time without any pain.
It's now been 9 days since I received the high intensity shockwave therapy from Dr. Stasiak. And I think for days 1, 2, and 3, when I woke up each morning, my feet felt like meaningfully better. And so I felt some optimism. And then after day 3, I feel like things kind of plateaued. And since then, I think the hardest thing over the last 6 days has been discerning if the pain or discomfort that I feel at any given time is recovery pain, like a healthy recovery pain from the procedure and the shots and etc., or if it's plantar fasciitis pain. And if that means that what if the treatment didn't work? Like, what if it's not going to be solved? And that's been hard. Like, that's been frustrating. On days 5, 7, and 8, I pushed myself a little too far for various reasons. Like, I have a young family, so we went to a fall festival, we went to a birthday party for a friend. We just had things going on. So it's not like I went running or long walks or anything like that. But on days 5, 7, and 8, I got to like 6,000 to 8,000 steps on each of those days. And by the end of the day, I could feel it. Like, I was not comfortable. Like, my feet were a bit sore. But on other days where I take it a little more easy, the feet don't feel that painful. I talked to Dr. Stasiak's team this week, and they were really helpful. Kristen was who I spoke to, and she reminded me of a few things. One is like to do a slow ramp up. I love going on long walks, and so she reminded me of how much time and space to give myself to ramp back up to that. And I still haven't really started on that yet, but she reminded me of that. She reminded me that blood is now flowing into a part of the foot that for me, for the last 6 years, maybe hasn't been getting enough blood. And so there's some change happening in my feet. And I think my takeaway right now is I just got to be patient. So I'm trying to be patient, diligent with my stretching multiple times a day, and hope for the best. It's been 4 weeks since my procedure with Dr. Stasiak, and I am cautiously optimistic that I'm making good progress, that I'm about to turn a corner in a good way. But we'll see what happens. For the first week after the procedure, there were 2 or 3 days where, for whatever reason, I was on my feet more, I walked more, and those were hard. Like, I felt some definite soreness and pain, and I was a little nervous, a little frustrated. And so generally over the first 3 weeks after the procedure, I tried to keep it pretty low key. I didn't go on walks really where I could avoid it. And I've always been very diligent with my stretching. In those 3 weeks, I probably averaged around 5,000 steps total per day, which is pretty low for me historically. And then for the last week, so from week 3 to week 4, meaning today, I've introduced walking again. So each day I try to go on a walk if I can, where I do maybe 2,500 steps. And my total step count for those days is maybe 6,000 or a little above. And I'm feeling pretty good about the progress. I actually chatted with Alec on Dr. Stasiak's team this week, and I asked him, what are a few cues that I should look for to gauge if I'm on pace, like gauge if I'm actually recovering well? And he gave some good tips. The first thing he said to look for is when I go on a walk, how intense is the pain during the walk? Is it a sharp pain or is it a dull pain? If it's a sharp pain, then maybe it is a plantar fasciitis pain that's lingering. But if it's a dull pain, a soreness, then maybe it is just that your foot is receiving blood flow that it hasn't received. And for me, it's been a long time. Like I had plantar fasciitis for a long time. And so that was a helpful thing to look for when I walk. Another thing he mentioned is to pay attention to how quickly I recover after a walk or after a day where I walked a bit more or was on my feet more. And that's also been helpful because like a couple days ago, I went on a longer walk with my family. And at the end of it, I was pretty sore and I was nervous. And then I went to bed that night. I woke up the next morning and I stretched before I got up. But when I first took my steps, I was a little nervous and I actually didn't feel that much pain. There was still some soreness, but not what I thought I would feel. So I'm encouraged about the progress. It's been 7 months since my procedure and 6 months since my last video. So it's been a while and I wanted to share an update. As I mentioned before, I gradually ramped back up on my step count per day. I was at 6,500 steps per day a month after my procedure. At the 2-month mark, I was averaging 8,000 steps. 3 months was at 10,000 steps. And 4 months and beyond at 11,000 steps. And I've stayed at about there. I felt great about my progress, and I actually started working with a fitness and nutrition coach at the 12-week mark or 3-month mark after the procedure because I wanted to strengthen the muscles around the feet, and I also wanted to lighten the load on my feet because I wanted to prevent the risk, mitigate the risk of the plantar fasciitis coming back as intensely and deeply as it was. I generally felt great about my progress once I got to the 16-week mark, which is a milestone for Dr. Stasiak and team in the recovery process. But at the 16-week mark, I also felt some residue pain, like some lingering plantar fasciitis pain that made me want to come back in for a second procedure. And Dr. Stasiak's team was fully supportive of that. So I actually went back in 5 months after the original procedure, so the 20-week mark. And that day, the second procedure was awesome. The shots were still hard, but the procedure itself was much faster because it didn't have to break up as much calcification as originally was there. The recovery that day and the subsequent days was great. I walked 10,000 steps 2 days after the second procedure, and I am so glad that I did that. As I reflect and think about where I am right now, I honestly have not felt this good about my feet in over 7 years. Another way to put it is that I haven't thought about my feet day in, day out this little in over 7 years. And that's a great thing because planning around my feet, thinking about my feet was always dominating my mindset, my capacity mentally. And I haven't had to do that. And it's felt amazing. Granted, all the factors have contributed. The procedure, weight loss, I've lost 35 pounds or so. And weightlifting, I've been lifting weights 4 times a week for about 4 months. All of those have contributed, but it all started with the procedure because that was like breaking the shackles all around my feet, literally the calcification around my feet and giving me a fresh start. And I then took advantage of that fresh start, that liberation to strengthen my muscles around the feet and to lose some weight to lighten the load. And I'm just so grateful that I did the procedure. I'm grateful for Dr. Stasiak and team. I couldn't recommend them more, and I couldn't be more optimistic about what the future holds for me.